all, Thach, thank you for being on. Like, I know we've known each other. I've watched your stuff. It's amazing. We really got to know each other during Limitless last year through Tarl and through that crew. I think your content, your education, everything is spectacular. And I love the rags to riches story, coming from Vietnam. I love your shirt, this mindset. Isn't it all about that?
I think the first thing, I was just talking to one of my friends just now before I hopped in the call. She's been a veteran for probably 20 plus years. And she's in that, January slump, right? Every beginning of the January, they in a slump. Like, can I do it again? Right? And I said to my friend, I was like, do you have a 10-year letter? And she said, no. Then I said, well, I would get older, right? You always got to think further out. You got to think outside of you. And when you get to think outside of you, then all your little problem you think you have, it becomes small when you really think outside of you. And so for me, when people use the word mindset, I tend to break it down a little bit, you guys, and go, what is mindset, right? It can be as simple as being clear on what you want, being clear on why you want it. Because that's mindset. Focus is mindset. Determination is mindset. Being hungry is mindset. And so for me, the moment I locked in, I want to make money for myself and I want to help my mom and dad. That was my single-minded focus. That was my inspiration. That was what I locked in. And then that became my determination to do what it takes to actually make money for me and retire my mom and dad. And that was the beginning of mindset. Today, mindset means something different to me. Today, I'm self-made. I'm good in financial. Today, what inspired me, which I found through a lot of spiritual practice, is my mission today to inspire and empower beings of people to reach for their goals and dreams and see that anything is possible by me sharing my own journey and my own story. And that's why, if you look at my social media, I purposely make all my video telling story of my own life and what I do, the wins that I win, and the drama I go through, or the failure that I go through. So all my posts is all around me sharing my journey and my projects and my lesson, and I give people that. So that's why my social media is so different from everybody else, because it's about me telling a story of my own personal self. And when I do that, everybody can relate to it because they see myself in them.
In our world, there are people that are posers,
Yes.
and there are people that are really doing stuff. And you're obviously in that category of people that you've been doing this for 30 plus years, and just like me, and ups and downs have been, it's been hell at times, obviously,
And one of the things I noted with this too, Ken, you can appreciate this. We don't change our course. So many people who I see in this real estate space, the moment things don't go well, they chase after the next shiny object to do or sell. Yeah. For me, been day one since 1991. That is my course. I stay in my lane when things are bad. You know what I mean? I just figure out the solution and I get back on course. I don't get, of course, when I was younger, I was always, hey, Dad, would you want to be, you know what I mean? You can be great if you was in Mona V, because you have so many followers. You can make a lot of money being a downliner here and a downliner there, or sell this and offer this. And it just been one of those things like, I don't need distraction. I'm doing real estate for me, not for followers, not for downline. I'm doing it for me. And that's what I see today. So many people out there on social media, when this month flavor is NFT, next month flavor is,
whatever
else. It's something else, right?
So since you've both been through that in 05, normally we don't get two people on the show that have both been through the, 06, 07, 08. What do you see similarities right now, and what do you see differences?
In 2006, I decided to build, because everything was looking hot at the time, right? So we decided to buy this property in downtown Seattle. It's between Cedar and Bell Street, which is Cedar is south of Bell, right? Okay, it was a whole block, right? And it was a property where this Chinese family owned, and he just got plans and permit for a 251 unit micro apartments. In that 2008 market, everything looks great. And we got the property. We pre-sold all 251 units. And then we needed 2 years to build it out. Well, by the time 2009 or 10 came around, right, the market turned. And out of 251 pre-sold, 200 of them decided to yank their deal because we didn't get the offering statement all done yet. Because usually those don't get done till the end of the year, at the end of the project. And so I realized after that, the bank would not give us an extension to do permanent financing. And we figured, we gotta turn this into a rental. And I realized at that time my partner didn't want to go that route. He wanted to try to sell it. My biggest lesson I learned from that was it's so important to find the right partner when you do business. You got to have the same mindset. You got to have the same value. I'm all about taking care of people. Somebody else is all about making their money. I'm about making my money too, but I'm also about making sure that my people get taken care of in the deal. This person over here was all about forget about the investor. I needed to save my own ass to get my own money. That didn't work well, right? And then I realized also I was relying too much on my own partner on research, where I should have done my own research also to make sure that I knew what we were getting ourselves into, and I didn't do my due diligence well. So that was a mistake for me. And then the third thing was reserve. We didn't have a lot of reserve cash laying around.
Cash
because, right? If I had had cash, I wouldn't be forced. So we got all leased up. We were forced to sell it, and equity residents end up buying the building. Okay. If I would have kept that building today, you guys, we sold it for $49.5 million in 2012. That building today worth over $75 million. Would have been a grand slam. So I think what I learned today is, number one, I track the market a lot more now. I know what's happening with the single family. I know what's happening in the multi-space, and I know what's happening in the apartment space. I have data from commercial lender to residential lender, right? We cross data now, you know what I mean? And then now, everything I do, I got to have lots of reserve cash at all times if I'm going to do anything.
I think from my standpoint, one of the things that's the same from call it, now or maybe 6 months ago, to when I was on that role as well, was that I believe next year would be better than this year.
I agree.
So that's the one thing. Like I'm like, yeah, like we just, we're slaying it. Things are good. Things are going up, and not seeing the signs, the red flags that are there, that were there. I was doing the condo conversions at the time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had just finished a 301 unit project on the Willamette River in Oregon that we bought from the NATO family. About 301 units from Goodman, John, actually from Pinnacle, and I converted it. So buy them for 100, sell for 200, and I was doing that in Tucson, Scottsdale, Portland, and some other Vegas, and so I had multiple projects going. And then what happened was, just like you said, I had contracts on properties or on units that weren't quite done yet. So we were a little bit different. We were renovating them. And then when the lights shut off, man, and when they shut off, they shut off. And all of a sudden, you're stuck with whatever you have left. In other words, you basically go from selling condos to not selling condos, in less than a week.
So let's hop into Limitless. We have that speaking of
Yes. Oh, dude. How about that? June 15th, 16th, 17th in Scottsdale.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing, man. That was an amazing event last year. I loved it. I got to a lot of big events, and I think that Limited last year, there was a lot of deep content, worthy content, inspiring content, more than just coming to a big event and all you get is a bunch of fluff.